very glad I reached so far, geographically. And Korea for me, it's also a special place of cinema with some very good directors working nowadays that reach Portugal. So it's time to do the opposite. I'll come here. And I say the same thing. It's a Korean director. It's Hong Sang-soo. Are very, very peculiar and very genius kind of mix between structure. I mean, these variations, repetitions, all these things he does in his films looks very mathematical, and at the same time, it feels very, very free, very, very free. I think his work will be one of the great works in the history of cinema. All the films put together will be amazing. I was with sunglasses, I don't remember.
Oh, really?
That day was quite unusual because I thought I would not get any prize. So I decided to go. I had my family, I have two kids, two small kids, and I went to an island like half an hour from Cannes with all the crew, with the actors, and we thought, okay, today is the ceremony of the prizes, and we'll not get nothing, so we'll spend a good day. We'll do a picnic on this island. So we went there, and finally the phone rang to the producer, and they said, "What are you doing?" We said, "We are in an island." He said, "No, you have to get back here." So I knew that I would receive an award. I didn't knew what kind of award, and I was very, very happy with this. I think to get prizes, you need to be a little bit lucky, because the reaction of a film is completely individual. So a jury is a number of people that can connect or not with the film, and in this case they connected. So maybe it was a different jury, it would be a different. Maybe I would not receive the prize, or maybe I would receive the Palme d'Or. Who knows? But I think I was quite lucky to get this award, and I was very happy, of course. Well, Grand Tour idea came in a particular moment of my life because I was thinking about getting married. The idea of marriage can be a little bit scary, big responsibility, And by that time I was reading a book by an English author that's called Somerset Maugham. And he made a trip on the 20s of the 20th century, about a trip on the Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Thailand, and ancient Burma, now Myanmar. So it was not a novel, and it was a book telling about, markets and temples and things like this. And he also is writing about encounters with people. So he says that at a certain moment he encounters a man, a British guy, that was engaged for several years with this woman from London. And after these years, she came fed up and said, "Okay, it's time to get married now." And he got scared and he ran away. He was waiting for her in the port in Rangoon, and he went to Singapore. And when he was in Singapore, he received a telegram saying, "Okay, my dear, I'm coming." So, and then he would be running from country to country, and she going after him. So this was like 2 pages in this book telling this situation. And so this was the departure point for this book. I was following this itinerary, and this itinerary that was written in these 2 pages of the book, South Korea. Sorry for that, but it's not my fault, There was this kind of itinerary they did in the past, in the beginning of the 20th century, mostly British and French, which was called the Asian Grand Tour. So normally it would start in India or, a western place of the British Empire, like also Burma. and they would go east, and normally they would get into China. It was the end of this grand tour. So it was a classical itinerary. I just followed this itinerary. In the film, we try to work with two things. One is a recreation of Asia, or these countries in Asia, including bamboo forests in China, tropical forests in Thailand, royal palaces in Bangkok. I mean, there are lots of different places, sets, and all constructed in studio. And I want them to be a little bit artificial, because cinema can make up a new world. Not the world we know, but like a parallel world made up for cinema, which I think it's quite interesting. Inside the studio, you don't have the sunlight, so you have to invent your own sun. It's quite interesting. It's like creating a world. On the other hand, I also shot in the real places where the action is happening, not with the actors, but showing how are these places today. And I mixed this during the whole film. And so we decided to shoot in black and white, because to put all these things together, if it was in color, it would be much hard to glue these things, these two very different kind of images. And also because work in studio, like old school studio, not with special effects like digital, but building sets, like in the old days of classical cinema, it was I think it's better to use black and white, because black and white helps you to integrate all the layers of the image. And color, it doesn't look so good. So we use black and white for this, and and then we use a little bit color, because we were using 16mm film stock, and 16mm film stock has only one kind of sensibility to light. So it's no good to shoot at night. It's no good to shoot in very dark places. So we just used color to get these images, or else we could not do it on film. And then the original idea was to turn this also in black and white. But while I was editing, me and my editor, we were fed up with black and white, because we were many days working. And so one day we decided, okay, let's turn on the color, put on the color. And we liked it. So it doesn't have any logical reason. It's only because it's beautiful. Sometimes you don't have to be logical. You just have to share beauty. And Molly, she's very extroverted. She looks a little bit crazy. She's very determined. Someone that will not give up until the end. Since here in Korea, you don't see more Portuguese films. I don't know if they were released, Pedro Costa films. I don't know if they... Also, Manuel de Oliveira, and that is already died at a very high age, And João César Monteiro was a very big master. And also Pedro Costa nowadays. So they do very different films. But there is something in common, which is the freedom of... they can afford to make personal films. So we don't really have an industry. So we don't get many pressure from money. On the other hand, we can afford freedom. Yeah, I think this is a very special festival, Busan, because, it's very alive. So many people, many screenings, many films, but always with full of people and young people. That amazed me to see how so many young people excited with the idea of discovering films from all over the world. So I'm quite impressed with the festival. Yeah, my first impression, I came to this balcony, I looked at these hills and the sea, And I thought, oh, this is like Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. They also have the sea and the hills, but it's quite different, in fact.
Querida Molly, uma inesperada viagem de trabalho obrigou-me a deixar Hamburgo. Desculpa, muito amor, Edward.